welcome back to my channel. My name's Johnny and we have a very special guest with us today. My wife, Sarah, aka Mrs. Morrison, as she has her own channel. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about some serious relationship stuff because you may or may not have noticed, Sarah and I are in an interspatial relationship.
Interracial, not interspatial.
Oh, of course. Sorry, people. I got it wrong. I kind of get it mixed up all the time.
At the end of the Second World War, it became quite apparent to the UK government that they didn't have enough manpower to do menial jobs like driving the buses. So, what did they do? Well, I'm going to tell you. They contacted the the Commonwealth, and said to the people there, come to the mother country, come to us and we will show you a better life. So in the 1950s and 60s, people from Asia, from Africa, from the Caribbean, they all came to the United Kingdom to make for themselves a better life. Because obviously, who was going to drive our buses? So this was the beginning of an integrated society, where black, white, brown, yellow, all colours of the rainbow, all were living together, rubbing shoulder to shoulder. But, as we can now see, it wasn't just shoulders that they were rubbing together.
So obviously, people didn't come to this country and just drive buses. They did a number of different jobs that were covering within the health service. There was lots of different things that they did when they came to this country, but they found it really difficult to find places to live, and it wasn't easy at the beginning. I know many stories of some of our older ones that live in the UK that said it was really difficult, but as you can see now, things have definitely changed. So my mum and dad, they're from the Caribbean. My mum was from Jamaica, my dad was from Barbados.
And my mum is English, but my dad was born in India.
So many people have asked us how we met, because obviously we come from different cultures. So what my plan is I'm going to tell you my version, and then I think my wife is then going to tell you her version of how we met together. That was how we met. So do you now want to tell me your version of what happened, Sarah?
Okay, so this is what really happened.
Really happened?
We were both at a ball, a dinner and a dance event organised by friends. We didn't realise that we had the same friends at the time, and Johnny was speaking to a friend of mine and spotted me across the room. And my friend's wife, who I was also friends with, still am, she basically saw him look at me and basically said something like, oh, I know that girl, let me introduce you. Called me over, introduced me, and that was about it. That was how we met. It wasn't a great first meet because I wasn't very conversational, was I? I kind of just said hi and looked away. I was like, okay, I'll be polite, but I'm here for you, not for him. My family have never had an issue with it. For them, it was always about wanting me to be happy, and as long as I was happy and the guy was treating me right, then they were happy. So they certainly didn't have any issues.
Yeah. And as for me, my family are very small. My mum and dad died when I was quite young, so you didn't have any in-laws to have to deal with. It was just me. So I had to go through all the hard work of proving my love to her mum and dad.
Before Johnny, I only actually dated white guys, but that wasn't preference, that was just how it turned out. Right. It wasn't like I said I was only going to date white guys. I did go through a phase where I only liked black guys and I really fancied all the black guys, but and I never dated one until I dated you.
Wow, so I'm your first and only...
You're my first relationship.
Oh, okay, cool. For me though, slightly different. I have kind of not I haven't been around the block, so don't get the wrong idea, but yes, I have dated people from who are white. I've dated people who are Asian. I've dated people that are black. So yes, so I have dated other races.
No, we do not.
No, 100%.
No, we do not.
No, no.
I like pop,
Rubbish music.
country. I do like a bit of R&B, kind of. If it's in the charts, like from we just don't like the same music.
No.
I'm not like I don't only listen to like one
Genre.
type of and I do like a lot of things, but not really. The thing is, I don't not like your music. It's just not what I choose to listen to. If I had a preference, I like stuff I can sing to.
Yeah. Well, what music did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to pop music,
Right, okay.
cheesy pop. So Spice Girls, Five, Westlife, S Club 7, and I loved all of that. And I still love that.
Terrible music.
As I got older, I loved things like T-Pain, Akon. So I do like other stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really like. I wouldn't choose to listen to what you listen to.
So, my story, because I'm a little bit older than Sarah, my music is a little bit older. So I grew up listening to reggae, to Motown, to soul. I quite literally listened to a lot of the music that my grandparents used to listen to, because obviously that was the music that was played at home. When I got to about 14 or 15, the rave scene kicked in. So I started listening to rave music. I really got into listening to, things like The Prodigy and sort of really fast beated music. I got into drum and bass. I was into house and garage. I liked, R&B. But to be honest with you, my real passion and real love was always sort of like the EDM, that kind of style, that sort of type of music. And Sarah doesn't like it. So when we're in the car, whoever's driving, the rule is whoever's driving the car gets control of the music.
But I never drive the car anymore.
Hence, I always get control of the radio.
You never let me drive anymore. I only drive that car when I'm going somewhere on my own.
Yeah, see? Smart brain. I knew. Control the steering wheel, you control the music.
Not that I've noticed. I don't notice those kind of things. Well, I do notice those kind of things actually, but not that I've noticed.
I think it depends on what part and where we are. Because do you remember that time we went to Slough? So Slough is not too far from us. Obviously, we're in Berkshire. Slough's just down the road, and it's got a very high number of Asian people living there.
Where do we eat?
We went. I can't remember the restaurant we went to, but we went into the shopping, and then we ended up getting some food. And well, either way, the steering was quite off-putting. I'm not used to it, to be honest. So I noticed it. Maybe you haven't noticed it, but I have. I've definitely noticed it more when we've gone to certain areas where it might be predominantly Asian, or it might be predominantly Caribbean. People do know it's quite noticeable. But we do live in quite a good cultural mix in the UK. In other parts of the world, I know it's not as easy as that. So it's more noticeable. And actually, some of the other interracial videos that I've seen on YouTube, especially in America, I've noticed it's a lot more cultural shock. It's a lot more of a shock of, oh wow, a black person's with a white person or with an Asian person. Whereby over in this country, it's quite normal now. Yeah. It's not really considered a big thing. And to be honest with you, I don't even see Sarah's race. If that makes sense. I mean, do you wake up in the morning and say, yes, Johnny, you're a black man?
No.
Of course she doesn't.
No.
She wakes up and thinks, Johnny, you're an amazingly handsome man.
Yeah.
Well, there was a delay there. There was a long delay there, love. There was too much of a long delay.
I don't think it's anything to do with race. I think people are just different anyway. So it doesn't matter whether I married you or a white guy. That person's going to be different to me and do things different to me and like things differently to me. So.
But what about? I think it means things like food or.
Oh, we definitely eat a lot more rice. I never used to eat much rice at all. Yeah. I'm not a rice person, but you are. So we definitely eat a lot of rice now.
See,
chicken, rice, and veg.
So I think. Actually, you've once said to me before that you thought I was Asian because the amount of rice I eat. So it's quite fair to say that I do eat a lot of rice. But I grew up eating. The thing is, I didn't grow up eating like normal potatoes, like how potatoes are cooked in England, because obviously it was cooked in a West Indian way, so it's slightly different. It's just very different. The food is very, very different from the cultures, but I'm not necessarily a good cook. I mean, you've seen me in videos, guys. I'm not the best cook. I do cook different meals, and I do try to add seasonings and different things that maybe other cultures might not do.
But they all look the same to me. They're all chicken and rice.
Oh my
with a
life!
different seasoning or a different sauce. They are.
How dare you?
They really are.
Question my seasoning. This is good food, people. I love cooking.
It's good food.
I know it is.
But
I made it.
I think there's things that I don't eat now because you don't like it. I
like
think
what?
in that sense, but that's nothing to do with race. That's just because you're so fussy with food. You are really fussy.
Sorry, people.
You are really fussy.
How am I fussy? I just don't eat potatoes. I just don't like potatoes. I'm not a great lover of potatoes.
But that rules out a lot of meals. Mashed potato, jacket potato, chips.
Did you say mashed potato? I'm so sorry, people.
I just feel like
Brandon.
We have our set meals now, and I would have experimented and widened out a lot more before. Like,
yeah.
I would have bought different things, tried different things.
Yeah.
But now, the shopping list doesn't change. Maybe that's just something we should just discuss. Try new things another time.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't say there's any impact. Like, other than I don't think I've impacted on you though. I don't think.
What do you mean?
Other than portion size.
Yes, I eat smaller portion sizes now, but that's because.
Do you?
Yeah, I used to eat much bigger before. Before we were married, I would. But then, to be completely honest with you, before we were married, I used to eat a lot of fast food because I wasn't taking the time to cook. But obviously now, as a married, family man, we have to cook healthy.
Yeah.
Cook healthy meals, don't we, Brandon? Even though you're only drinking milk right now. Mwah. So it's a little bit late with that one because, bing, we have a son. But most interestingly, before he was born, you were worried about how he would look.
Yeah, because
do you remember?
I think that was the one thing, and this is why I never saw myself marrying a black guy.
Right.
Because I always wanted my kids to look like me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able
But why would you think they wouldn't?
Because of colour. And I always thought my kids aren't going to look like they belong to me if they're not my colour.
Okay.
So I always wanted my kids to look like me, and but then Brandon actually does look like me, and this is another thing. I really wanted a girl because I thought a girl would be a nice, like a little mini me, and a boy's going to be a mini you. But Brandon is like the spitting image of me when I was a baby. He looks the same as I did when I was a baby.
Actually, he looks more like he looks like your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he very much looks like his grandfather because Sarah looks like her dad. So he is the third generation, but with with a nice little West Indian bit splash in him.
But he does look just like I did.
Yeah.
He looks like me. I got my wish.
But he will have my personality.
Oh dear.
Right, guys, well, thank you so much, as always, for checking in and staying to the end, helping with my algorithm, people. We loved that we were able to do this video with you guys. We know that, obviously, race is a big subject, and it's always going to be a big subject. As long as we recognise different races and we don't just accept that we are just a human race, maybe one day there'll be more peace around the world. But anyway, guys, you take care. As always, please consider subscribing to my channel. Please also check out Mrs. Morrison's channel as well. And she has some awesome subjects, awesome topics. I love her videos. In fact, the last one, she pranked me. You definitely got to check that one out. Please be safe, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.